Now I have here my original Illustrator drawing. Let me show you how we can have After Effects open that for you, because we want to make sure with all the different versions of our monster that we are editing this one. What I want to change is this 3D effect, and you'll notice that the face here is pretty flat. A little bit of inner glow can make a huge difference in the appearance, but you do need to be careful and not rename these layers or move them around. You don't want to add new ones or remove any. You want to keep the layers the same, but what's on those layers can be adjusted. So what we're going to do is right click, not here, we don't have the option here, but expand your folder that should have been created when you imported as a composition. I'm going to right click on any one of these and say Reveal in Explorer, because Explorer will have that file selected when you do that. And then you double click on it and open it in the Illustrator. So what I'm adding here is a little bit of inner glow and take off that 3D effect. So let me show you exactly how that's going to work. We need to use the Appearance tab right over here. So Appearance looks like a little sun, and these are the layers. You may have to get to the path. These eyes, both of them are ellipses on a single layer. So when I look at the appearance, I don't see the 3D effect. But if I click on the eye itself, using the target, here's the best way to go. I'm going to move this over a little bit. I'm going to hide or delete 3D and materials. And now it is simply a flat ellipse. Notice the stroke. You really need to have strokes on most of these shapes, especially if you don't have an inner glow. So I'm going to select this other eye. You can see the selection move to the other ellipse, and I can also just delete that 3D effect altogether. So what I do want is to have an inner glow on some of these. Let me just add an effect, stylize, inner glow. All right, now I've already made some changes. You'll need to make sure it's on normal, just to simplify things, and change the color of what that inner glow is going to be. Just darkening it is fine. And if you just use black, that should work in a lot of cases. You can also pick a darker version of green, gray, or brown like I'm about to do. So I am going to just leave that one black. And it's set to 4 pixels. You don't want to go too far. You may want to try something like make the inner part the glow and the outer is a little sharper. Looks a little funny here, but let's reduce that. So it's just got a little bit, it makes it look beveled, kind of like bevel and emboss. So I'm going to click OK. And we are zoomed in pretty close here. It does have a little pixelation, but it's going to make a big difference on our creature. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. And the nice thing is I can just do Effect, Inner Glow, and apply the same thing. It'll have the same numbers and everything. You can make slight adjustments if you need to. Let me click on this face, and I'm going to add that effect again. Effect, Apply, Inner Glow, or just this Inner Glow. And now it's darker. And remember, if you've got access to this button right here, you may need to reset your workspace if you're missing layers or that. And then just change this fill or stroke, or in this case, the inner glow. So I'm going to change this to kind of a dark gray, maybe a little darker, so it's not black, and play a little bit with how much. Just give it a little bit of personality there. You can do the same thing here with these 2 stripes. I'm holding Shift to select both of them. If you need to find them over here, it can be a little tricky sometimes. So either select here or find, if you named it stripes, you can select both of them at the same time and Effect, Apply Inner Glow. It will apply the same numbers, so you don't even have to make adjustments if you get it the way you want it. So here's that brown effect and Apply Inner Glow. And if you want to make changes after you've done that, you can say, well, I want a little more glow on that, make it a little more 3D. So a huge difference here. Now I've made a bunch of changes, but they're not going to show up in After Effects just yet. I have to save this file. Control S, you can see there's no asterisk there anymore. I go back to After Effects, it looks the same. What's going on? Well, it's got to kind of catch up with you, and now those changes have been applied. You can also force them by saying, hey, reload that footage, I've made some changes, and it will immediately do that for you. So a whole lot of difference here instead of just the flat look that it had before. And again, you can do this even after all your keyframing, only if you don't rename, rearrange, or delete any of these layers.